Hello YouTube, this is Billy. Today I'm doing an oil change on a 2011 Kia Sorento. Thing obviously would be to get the motor oil and the filter. I just got back from the store picking up the oil and the oil filter and some additives that I like to use. In any event, I've got the hood popped, and now I'm going to get underneath the vehicle and show you the oil plug directly under the front of the vehicle. And let's see. Okay, so this right here would be the oil filter. So in relations to the vehicle, I'm directly, it's like this is the passenger side headlight and passenger side little fog light, and straight down here this piece of plastic here. Once you get past that plastic, and you can see the metal of the frame there and the plastic. Okay, right here, this is the oil pan, and that bolt right there with the blue, this bolt right here with the little blue ring there, that is the oil plug. So I'm going to get an oil pan on the ground here underneath it and get a wrench or ratchet wrench and get that loose and pulled out. And as I do that, I'll make sure to if it has a washer, and it looks like it might have one because of the blue there, if it has a washer, you want to make sure that you keep up with your washer, don't lose it. Helps it get a good seal. So we'll get this plug out and start letting the old oil drain out, and that would be step one. Okay, I've got my oil pan, and I've got my little homemade oil pan where I just cut the side out of one of my old larger oil cans there, and get those slid into place down there to catch the motor oil. 5/8 socket on my little ratchet wrench. Okay, now I've got the oil pan in place here, and getting the ratchet wrench on the plug there and turning it counterclockwise to loosen it up. And you're going to want to be aware that oil will be coming out, so it'd be nice if the vehicle had cooled off so that the oil's not hot. In any event, we'll get this plug out and get all this oil drained out. And I'm not seeing a washer, I'm not feeling a washer, and that blue looks like it's just some blue paint that was put on the plug at some point. Okay, there we go. Get this plug set aside, and we'll just let that oil drain out. Okay, well, while the oil is draining, I'm just taking a shop towel and cleaning up the plug and getting it ready to go back in. The oil is still got a little coming out. We'll go ahead and let that drain all the way out. Using an old oil bottle comes in nice and handy to pour the old oil into. And when you're doing that with a funnel, it's a real good time to rest assured that there was not a washer that belongs to the plug. Get all this old oil into this container and dropped off at a local place for recycling. Waiting on the oil to finish dripping down there, I went ahead and loosened the cap where we'll put the new oil in. I just got that loose and sitting there. So the dipstick right here, just pull that out and take my little towel and clean it off and get it set over here to the side for now. Okay, now getting that oil plug tightened up. You don't want to over tighten it, so as soon as it starts feeling like it's getting tight, maybe just a hair more, and that's it. And now the oil plug is in good. Okay, now we're ready to get the oil filter pulled out. And so sometimes you can just grab it and get a good enough grip with your hands and turn it lefty-loosey to spin it off. You probably will get some oil on you when this comes loose. So you want to have an oil pan down here on the ground underneath it. Okay, I was able to get the oil filter loose. I just put both of my hands on it and forcefully turned it lefty-loosey to spin that out. So yes, on the old oil filter, what you want to do is make sure that that rubber ring is still attached to the old oil filter, and that is it right there. If that rubber ring is missing, it's that black ring that goes all the way around. If that black ring's missing, then it may be stuck to your motor, and you'd have to clean that off before you put the new one on. But so ever since that happened to me, I always make sure that that's not the case, because you end up buying more oil, because when you put a filter on top of that old rubber ring, it doesn't hold the oil properly, and oil ends up all in your driveway. Okay, so I've got my new one out of the box. This rubber ring right here, and it's okay if you use some of that old oil. You just want to put a little bit of oil on that rubber ring right there, and what that's going to do is it's going to help prevent it from getting stuck to the motor. There's a lot of people that'll tell you to fill up the oil filter with oil. To each their own. Some people do it, some people don't. I don't myself. It's just righty-tighty, and just screw that in, and when it feels tight, I'll go ahead and snug it a little more. Okay, that feels plenty good. The nice thing about using an old oil bottle to pour the recycle old oil into is this little window here. You're able to see exactly how much came out of the vehicle, in case you're wanting to put the exact same amount back in the vehicle. That's always a safe way to go. And there's also the dipstick itself that will help you ensure that you've got the correct amount in the vehicle. Okay, now that the oil plug is back in good and the new oil filter's back in good, and I'm going to move this cap over here to the side and get my funnel. You always want to be cautious to not spill oil all over your motor. Definitely on your coils, on your coils that go to your spark plugs, you don't want to get oil on them. It can create some headaches. So using a funnel is a good idea. Help you control. And me myself, I actually pour one little quart at a time. Even though I buy the larger bottle, I use a smaller bottle, a 1 quart bottle, to pour into the motor 1 little quart at a time. That way I know exactly how much I'm putting in. That's how I do it in any event. So I'm ready to start putting some oil in. Okay, 1 little quart of oil at a time. I'm getting oil going in. I've gotten in about 3.5 quarts of oil poured in. I'm going to actually put the cap back on and put the dipstick back in. I'm going to start the car and let it run for maybe 30 seconds, and then turn it off and let it sit for a few minutes, and then pull the dipstick, clean it off, and check the oil and see if I need to add any more. On the dipstick, here, it's got the 2 little dots on the dipstick. those two dots are the safe operating marks. If you look really close, I know it might be hard to see in the video, but on the lowest dot there, it's got an L. That means it's low. And on the uppermost dot, it's got a little F beside it. So when the oil level is close to that uppermost dot, that's when you know you've got your oil is full. I started the car and I let it run for about 30 seconds. And now I'm going to just let it sit for about a minute or two, let the oil settle, and I will check the oil level. I'll pull the dipstick, clean it off, put it in. I'll check it 3 or 4 times to make sure I'm getting a good read. And if I need to add any more, I'll just add more. Okay, it looks like it took really close to 5 quarts of oil to get it to the full level on the dipstick. And just don't forget to make sure your cap's on good and that your dipstick's in good. Right here on the oil cap, it lets you know the type of oil that you need to use. Very handy right there. In this case, it's the 5W20. Would be a basic oil change on this 2011 Kia Sorento. Well, for anybody this video may help, well, good luck. Bye.